Have you ever had that sinking feeling? You know the one. You map out a project, everything looks perfect on paper, and then bam, it's late. Maybe a few weeks late, or maybe a few months late. It's one of the most common frustrations out there, but guess what? It's not just bad luck. So let's get into the real reasons, the deep psychological reasons your projects are almost always behind schedule.
Oh yeah, we've all been there, right? Staring at the calendar, just feeling that pressure mount for a deadline that seemed totally reasonable not that long ago. This feeling of time just slipping through your fingers, of a perfectly good plan just falling apart. It's a feeling that connects all of us, no matter what we do for a living.
So that really is the big question, isn't it? Why is this so incredibly common? I mean, we're all smart, capable people. Why do we consistently get this one thing, estimating how long something will take, so completely wrong, over and over again?
And look, this isn't just a hunch. According to some eye-opening research from Harvard Business Review, a staggering 65% of projects blow past their deadlines. Just let that sink in for a second. That means nearly 2 out of every 3 projects are late. This isn't just you having a bad week, it's a massive, systemic problem.
Right, so this isn't some random one-off thing. It's a pattern, a cycle, a perpetual deadline problem that just keeps happening to businesses and to us as individuals. To really get to the bottom of it, we first have to look at the reasons we think projects are late.
Now, if you ask a manager why a project was late, you'll probably hear a list that looks a lot like this. The goals weren't clear, we didn't have enough people, something unexpected popped up. And look, those things are totally real. But more often than not, they're just the symptoms. The real cause goes way deeper, and it's actually hardwired right into our own brains.
It turns out the root of this whole problem isn't in our project management software. It's in our skulls. We humans have a serious optimism problem. It's a set of what they call cognitive biases that tricks us into believing we can get more done and faster than reality will ever allow. So let's break down the 2 biggest culprits.
First up, the main event, it's called the planning fallacy. This is our brain's default setting to make plans that are, as the psychologist Daniel Kahneman famously put it, unrealistically close to best-case scenarios. And, here's the kicker, we do this even when we've done almost the exact same thing before and we know it took a lot longer.
And you're not going to believe this, but Kahneman, the guy who literally discovered this bias, fell for it himself. His team, full of absolute experts, estimated it would take them about 2 years to write a textbook. Now, they knew from experience that other teams took an average of 7 years. So what happened? It took them 8 more years to finish. They completely ignored the data, all because they were so optimistic about their own project.
Now, the planning fallacy isn't working alone. Oh no, it has a sneaky partner in crime called confirmation bias. This is our brain's little habit of cherry-picking evidence. We actively look for and remember anything that proves we're right, and we conveniently ignore, well, everything that suggests we might be wrong. And here's how these 2 team up to cause chaos. First, the planning fallacy serves up this beautiful, rosy, best-case scenario timeline. Then confirmation bias jumps in and acts like a hype man, finding all the reasons why that timeline is totally brilliant, while it filters out all the warning signs, all the potential risks, and all the memories of every project that ever went late. It's a really dangerous feedback loop. Now you might be thinking, okay, I get it. But surely if you get a whole team of people together, that would fix it, right? More eyeballs, more realistic viewpoints. Yeah, about that. It turns out the exact opposite is often true. Putting people into a group can actually make these biases way, way worse.
See, in a team meeting, you don't just have those individual biases floating around. You get social pressure thrown into the mix. You've got ego, people wanting to look competent and positive, and then you have the big ones, power dynamics and fear. All of that can turn a simple planning session into an exercise in collective delusion.
This real-life exchange from a project planning meeting just says it all, doesn't it? The expert on the team says a complex job will take 8 weeks, but the director, the person with the power, just says, nope, we don't have 8 weeks, we'll make it 4. And what is the team member supposed to do? Their professional expertise was just completely overruled.
And that's not just a one-off story. Research backs this up. A huge reason employees don't speak up about things like, say, an impossible deadline is because they feel powerless. They think, why bother? It's not going to change anything. Or even worse, it might get me in trouble. So they stay quiet, and the doomed, unrealistic plan moves forward.
And the price tag for this kind of unchecked optimism? Well, it can be absolutely mind-blowing. Let's just look at 2 infamous examples.
Boston's Big Dig highway project. They ignored warning after warning, and the budget didn't just grow, it exploded from under $3 billion to almost $15 billion. Or how about the Denver airport's automated baggage system? The plan was so overconfident that it delayed the entire airport's opening by 16 months, cost over $500 million more than planned, and then they just scrapped the whole thing. These are not small mistakes.
So our brains are basically wired to be terrible at planning, and putting us in teams can just pour gasoline on the fire. It sounds pretty bleak, I know. But here's the good news. It's not hopeless. We can actually fight back against these biases by consciously choosing to plan for reality. Let's talk about how.
The whole key is to shift your way of thinking. Our default mode is what's called the inside view. That's when we focus on all the unique, special things about our project. It's where we tell ourselves, this time it'll be different. It's where optimism lives. The outside view, on the other hand, forces us to ask a totally different question. How long did it take other people to do similar projects? It makes us ignore our feelings and just look at the cold, hard data. It's what Kahneman's team forgot to do.
Here is a fantastic, practical tool for doing this. It's called a premortem, and it's so simple but so powerful. Before you even start the project, you get the whole team together, and you pretend it's a year from now and the project has failed spectacularly. Then, everyone individually writes down every possible reason why it failed. This brilliant little exercise completely bypasses our optimism bias and makes it safe for everyone to talk about risks without sounding negative. It lets you find the problems before they find you.
And finally, there are a few simple daily habits that can help you keep your plans grounded in reality. First, break those giant projects into smaller, bite-sized tasks so you can see all the hidden work. Always, and I mean always, add buffer time for the unexpected stuff that will happen. Talk about timelines constantly with everyone involved. Use tools to track where you actually are, not where you hope you are. And most importantly, be flexible. Think of these as the antidotes to that rigid optimism of the planning fallacy. So when you get right down to it, it all comes down to this. The very next time you start planning a project, you're going to have a choice. You can fall into that comfortable, easy trap of the best-case scenario, the one your brain naturally wants you to pick. Or you can choose to take that outside view, run a premortem, and plan for the messy, complicated, and unpredictable world we actually live in. The choice is yours.